Joe, can you share the story of your 38-yard run in your first game against Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was a reverse. It was one of two reverses that we scored on, and I was supposed to hand it to LaRon McClain. He was supposed to hand it to the receiver. I think LaRon kind of forgot that was happening, and I could have just handed it to the receiver, but I kind of just took it around the side myself. I was going to just go run, take the first down, and get out of bounds, and I kind of got to that point and was like, all right, I might as well keep going, and the rest is history. Just ended up. No, I have not.
Joe, what do you remember about that week making your first NFL start?
Dude, I don't know, man. Not much, honestly. I guess I could try to put myself back in that situation. It was a camp where I didn't get a ton of reps, and found out that I was going to be the starter very late in the preseason. So it was kind of all a whirlwind at that point.
Does this feel any different to you than any of your other starts to a season?
I think no matter how long you've been in it, how many games you've played, they all feel pretty similar. I think we're excited to get going. Anytime you haven't been at it for 6-7 months, you're excited to get out there and get going and see what the team's going to be made of. So
starting against the Bengals, AFC North game, and knowing that your very first start was, of course, against them in an opener. Just how kind of special is this? How excited are you for this?
Yeah, I think anytime you open up against a division opponent, it makes it, I don't know, you don't want to say that much more important because they're all important, but these division games, they can be tough and they're going to be a battle till the end. So you just got to make sure you're ready to go. And I think the way we prepare this week will kind of tell us a lot about ourselves.
You kind of gave us a state of Flacco when you were named the starting quarterback, but now that you've been through the entire training camp in your 18th year, give us a state of Flacco physically and mentally.
I feel good. I think it's just the constant reminders of just play your role, do your part. That this is a team game, and it's about all of us going out there and preparing to do our job the right way. Getting through training camp and getting ready to go into this opener, I feel good. But hey, I think everybody usually feels pretty good, even if they've had a hard training camp. Everybody feels pretty good heading into week one. So, it's just it's a matter of realizing that this may be the last time you feel 100% and kind of just going in there with an open mind and having a lot of fun.
What makes the AFC like such a special and electric matchup? What gets you guys excited to go against each other?
I think being in this division for a while, historically, you're playing against, some teams that, you're playing outside, you're playing against good defenses, you're playing teams that want to be physical. They I'm sure if you go into these team meetings, and you go into their offense and defensive meetings, I'm sure being physical is a big part of what they want to accomplish as a team. So I think in this division, I think that's what you think about is that side of the game, a little bit of a throwback. Now, obviously, teams are throwing the ball a lot, but that doesn't take away the fact that you want to be physical and kind of impose your will on teams.
Their defense is such a mystery. They didn't show anything. How do you prepare for that? How do you know where to attack?
Well, listen, you got to gather as much info as you can, and then you just got to trust your process and go out there and do what you do. And there's going to be some things that I'm sure they're going to surprise us with, and you got to be able to trust your fundamentals and go out there and operate as such.
Is there maybe one core tenet that you're expecting from that algorithm defense?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to share too much about what I feel like they're going to do. But I think we, have gone down, the whole of what they're going to try to do, and obviously feel like, we got a little bit of a beat on what that may be. But like I said, you never know what kind of game it's going to turn into once you get out there and bullets start flying.
Joe, with the pressure that Trey Henderson applies, obviously, with the sacks last year, how do you, prevent him from knocking you off of what you want to do?
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. I've gone against him multiple times. I mean, he's going to make his presence felt. Players like that, they usually find a way to do that. So once again, for us, it just goes back to fundamentals, playing within ourselves, obviously having a plan to take care of that, and then not overreacting, if he makes a play here and there. Just getting back to the core part of the game plan and trying to take care of it as much as we can.
Joe, you're going to be the ninth guy in NFL hits quarterback to start a game 40 in week one. When was the point when you thought that I could play at 40 or
I don't think I've ever given it too much thought about whether I could play at a certain age or not. It's just I still feel like I can play, and I don't even look at it as I still feel like I can. This is what I do. I play football, and I've been fortunate enough to not really get out of that mindset. There's been times, obviously, throughout my career where I wouldn't have necessarily thought that this was going to happen, but I'm grateful to be in this position and excited to do it.
Joe, you had talked a couple of times throughout training camp about how it wasn't necessarily ideal in terms of getting every single one of those first-team reps and making sure those guys knew you were the one. Do you feel like you were able to make up for that as time went on, and how do you feel about that whole chemistry piece now?
I do. There's so many things about every training camp and every situation that you're in that aren't necessarily ideal. But that's not necessarily what's ideal for the team. I think the best thing for this team was to kind of have the process that we had, and even though I may personally not feel like that was the best thing for myself, I can get on board and see how that was important for the team to go through this process. So therefore, I'm willing to and I have been willing to kind of play that role and go through that process and just be the best version of myself I can be. And now heading into the season, like I said, I think it was the best process for this team to go through that. And I feel like there was plenty of time for me to make sure that I got the reps and felt comfortable with all the guys around me.
Joe, I know we bring up the storyline of 2023 a lot, but comparing to that situation you were in to now, what's your level of comfortability and confidence with the offense compared to that?
Yeah, I'm sure it's obvious that it's obvious when you've called some plays in the huddle and practiced a bunch for months that you're a little bit more comfortable in the offense than coming in a week later doing it for the first time. To quantify how much, it's hard to say. But I love the guys that we have in that huddle and the guys that we have in this locker room, and I think that's an important part of it. So that's where I think it's a little bit nicer to have been around here for the time I have, because you make those relationships stronger, and those are the guys you're going to be on the field with battling on Sunday. So you want to have those relationships.
Week ones are so unpredictable from P away. How do you feel? I know you talked a little bit about just kind of the vibes around training camp, especially, but from training camp, start of training camp on, how have you guys kind of prepared? Do you feel like you've kind of been able to set yourselves up to combat things that kind of happen out of nowhere, and you're kind of feeling things out early on?
Yeah, because I think the focus on training camp is yourself. It's looking inward and finding out what we can be better at, what we want our identity to be. And I think week one is a lot about doing those kind of things. So if we can kind of go out there and live up to what we've kind of set up for ourselves and the expectations we've set, then I think all those other things will fall into place. It's about what we can do to kind of just play the type of game we want to play.
When you are going up against an opposing quarterback who led the NFL with 43 touchdowns last year, how does that change your mindset going into this game and just in general? What do you think about it, Joe?
I think everybody's a fan, in some respects, so you understand what those guys can do. But at the same time, when you start worrying about things that are out of your control, then you don't really play the way you want to play. So I think for us on the offensive side of the ball, it's just mastering our game plan and mastering the things that we can do to kind of play our role and, do the best we can on our side of the ball. We have a lot of trust on the guys on the other side of the ball, and that's ultimately going to be their challenge.
And what do you think of, as you've watched Joe Burrow over the last 6 years, what do you think of him as a quarterback?
Yeah, well, obviously he's done a really good job. I mean, he's come into the league, and when he's been behind center, he's been able to go out there and have a lot of success, make quick decisions, but also have the feel to extend plays when he has to, get the ball to his playmakers. So he's done a great job.
Josh, shouldn't it stand to reason that having a full training camp with this team this year compared to what happened in 2023, do you feel you're a better quarterback right now than you were?
I think that's the one advantage of this. The one thing about quarterback is I feel like mentally, you do become a better quarterback, a more experienced quarterback. You're always learning something. So I feel if you can keep your physical attributes the same, or if you were just call those even, then yes, I think as the years go on, you do gain knowledge and become better at the position.
Pretty good.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Nice to see you guys again. Huge win. We should be number one spot now. They are. They're number one.
Does this matchup fire you up more than any other?
Yeah, it definitely fires me up. I enjoy going against these matchups. They got a high-powered offense. It's a division game, and it's the first game of the season, so we trying to go and get that first win, and that's the plan.
You and Jamar have some great battles over the year. What makes them so special?
What makes Jamar the team, you saying?
Well, we'll say Jamar.
Jamar, just a playmaker. Just led the league in receiving yards. Just a great player. Get the ball in his hands, able to take it the distance. And him and Burrow are on a great page together. They know where each other's going to be, and Burrow, he's going to get the ball to him. So it just makes it a great matchup and a great game.
So do you have to study film, or do you just know him so well that you don't have to keep piecing together film?
Yeah, I still watch a little film and check the guys out, see how they're looking and what they like to do. But but pretty much just go out there, play, enjoy the game, have fun, try to get a win.
If you had your choice, would you follow Jamar the whole entire game? I know you guys don't usually play like that, but if you could, is that what you would want to do?
I want to do whatever it is to help this team win. That's the main goal. So whatever my assignment is for the week, whatever the coaches come to me, like Denzel, we need you to do this. I'm always all for it and ready to roll.
How often does he go into the slot more often than over the first couple of years?
Yeah, they move him around a lot, honestly. But yeah, he has been a slot, but he's gonna be a slot outside. So they do a good job moving him around and put him in different positions. And so we're gonna have to see where he's at all times.
Over the years you've been here, how have you seen this division rivalry evolve?
Yeah, it's been a great rivalry. I think we got them a few times. They beat us as well. So it's just best team win that day. Best matchup, win your matchups, and that's it.
How much do you rely on previous experience? Obviously, this year they played their starters a little more in the preseason to try and combat some of their slow starts they've had in recent years. How much do you rely on previous years when you're preparing for a game like this?
I'm curious in what aspect, but to kind of answer your question, I would say I watch the film and everything and see what's going on. But every year's a new year. They may do some of the similar things as years past, so you may take some stuff. But I think it's pretty much similar in the same. So.
The guys behind you, in the cornerback room, right? How do you feel overall, the depth and assess the cornerback group going into the season?
Yeah, I think we're going to be good. We got a good corner group, and our goal is to be the best in the world. We got to take that a day at a time, practice at a time, game at a time. It's going to start week one, and we go try to go out there and show that.
Denzel, Greg talked a little bit about this Monday, but specifically the Bengals, I know they'll pick on the secondary when you're in there and the other guy. What do you tell those younger guys? I know Greg's older now, obviously.
Yeah.
How much of an experience is that? And when you're not getting targeted, how much do you want to be targeted?
Yeah, no, I pretty much just tell the guy, this is the National Football League. Those guys get paid as well. And they may make some plays, but that's not going to determine the entire game. You got to come out there and play hard and continue to try to get the play back. But I definitely want all the plays and throws that come my way. I like making plays on the ball and being a factor in the game. So I'm looking forward to going into the game. And, hopefully they target me a lot. So go send Joe Burrow some text, tell him throw at me. And, go from there. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Who's the bigger trash talker, you or Greg?
Oh, Greg's definitely the bigger trash talker. I don't talk too much trash out there, but, Greg's definitely your guy.
Along those lines, about stuff. He's sort of thrown some shots you guys' way in the past.
Mhm.
What are those conversations between you guys like in the field, and kind of what's the interactions like when you're actually in the moment on the field playing?
Yeah, they vary. You just got to mic us up and really hear them. But the conversations vary sometimes. But we're not having too much conversation, during the game. But yeah, they vary.
How much have you seen Higgins evolve his game in the past 5-6 years since he got a big contract this offseason too?
Yeah, since Higgins came into the league, he's always been a great player for those guys. Reliable for those guys, always making plays, making the jump ball catches, crazy catches. So he's a great player just as well as Chase.
Denzel, how do you guys, as a defense, feel about Joe Flacco starting at quarterback, and what kind of confidence does that give you heading into this game?
Yeah, great confidence. Joe's a great quarterback, got the experience. Last time we had him, we was doing pretty well during the season. So looking forward to, can't bank off of that, but looking forward to going in with him and trying to get that first win of the season.
You guys trying to play, obviously, a complementary defense, hold down the back end, rely on the front end to create enough problems to create opportunities for you.
Yep.
The two rookies, Mason and Carson, what have you seen from them throughout camp and preseason that has you really excited about them being injected into that front seven?
Yeah, no, I think those are two great young players, and they've been showing that all preseason, reliable, doing their job. Come out here, they want to be great, and they're gonna help us obviously going into the season and the entire year.
Physically preparing for Jamar or T is obviously a hard task, but the mental side of it, mentally preparing to cover Jamar or Chase, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, just watching the film, it's going to be a tough matchup. Those are top guys at their positions and great offense and a great team. So, just going in with confidence, I'm at the top of my position as well, so I'm looking forward to the matchup and just going in there competing. And like I said, most importantly, trying to get the win. That's what I'm most focused on.
I'm sure you watched the Ohio State game this weekend. As a defensive player, is a 14-7 game the kind of game you like watching?
Yeah, hey, all that matters is the win. They got the win, those Buckeyes got the number one spot now, so great job to them and being Texas.
Denzel, I saw you guys were, somebody had you guys ranked as like the 30th best team in the NFL. I saw that the other day, and then the over and under is like 4.5. How do you feel about being sort of disrespected or whatever you might want to call it, or just, such low expectations nationally for you guys?
Honestly, I don't really think it matters whether someone ranks us 32 or ranks us number one. Like, we going out there as the best team that win that day, and that's the goal and that's the focus. So you can't look at all that outside noise and what's going on, where they got you ranked, because, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect how we're going to play come game day.
Week 1 is going to be so unpredictable. Teams kind of feeling themselves out, figuring out who they are. How do you feel like you guys have prepared from the start of training camp on to avoid getting off to a little bit of a slow start?
Yeah, I think the team's been we started off fast and been working hard every day. Coming out there looking forward to get that first win of the season. So I think we're going to start fast. That's the goal and that's the plan, and just got to give full effort.
Going back to the two rookies, Mason and Carson, you open up at home. It's a divisional opponent. The moment could feel really big. So what would be your advice to them to get in and settle down? And what was that like for you, if you remember your first start?
Yeah, just pretty much tell them that, it's football, it's the same thing we do out here at practice, just a couple more fans and, a little bit louder. But in my first game, I was nervous in my first game. I remember going against Pittsburgh, home game. But I was excited, though, I was excited, looking forward to playing. I was going against Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. So, it was a fun atmosphere, and just got to embrace it, really. Just embrace the moment and just play your game. That's it.
How good do you think you guys can be this year when you look at your defense and now the offense? What do you feel like you guys can do?
Yeah, I think we could be special. But I don't try to look too far ahead. Try to take it a day at a time, like I said, a game at a time always. But I think we could be special. We got all the pieces and got the players and the want to, and we just got to go make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Heck no. Yeah. No. You gotta have a little bit more respect for it. No, I went to Texas Tech. So I grew up there, but both my parents went to KU. So we were like Texas fans just because we grew up there. And like when they won the Natty when I was like a little kid, we went down and celebrated at the tower.
Absolutely. I only have it because my brother went there.
Yeah, my dad, like, I got my own, but then every time he done over his, he give me Okay.
Whenever y'all ready.
Yeah. Now, starting your second season here, do you feel that you're a better player right now than you were a year ago?
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of work throughout the off season, and having the year that I had last year just gives me more confidence to be able to do the same thing again this year. So, I'm very confident and excited about the season.
James, right now against a divisional opponent, how exciting is that for you guys? Just knowing that these games are more physical, so probably get more tough to them, and for you guys to start also at home against them.
It's a great thing being able to have our first game home against a divisional opponent. Just like the team like the Bengals, that's a team to beat in our division. So, it's a test to us just to start off early, start off fast and be able to win those games. First game of the season, so, it means a lot.
Various times since going back to the spring, we've asked you about Flacco. So now that training camp is all over and you're starting the season with him, size him up as a quarterback.
My bad, I didn't hear that.
Size him up as a quarterback for your team, Flacco.
Size him up?
Yeah.
What
do you see?
A veteran quarterback that know the game of football, that still got a lot left in the tank. Know where to put the ball for receivers to make plays. Understand coverages, understanding how receivers like the ball placed. Knowing where to go with the ball. Smart quarterback that you can learn a lot from.
We have a new defensive coordinator this year. Obviously, in the preseason, teams aren't showing anything. It's pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
How do you prepare to face a defense that made some changes in the offseason but really didn't tip their hand?
Just by following the coaches. I'll go and see where he came from, seeing what type of scheme he run throughout his career in the league and throughout college. There's not really that much film, like you said, to watch the Cincinnati Bengals defense. You just watch the film that we have with a little bit of the preseason and a little bit of film from last year, and just go on from there.
Hey, Jerry, what's it been like playing with Isaiah, getting him in here and seeing that speed he brings? What do you think he adds to your guys' game?
You said it, the speed. He did a great job just coming in here and just learning the offense pretty quick. He's a very smart, talented player that, going to have a big role on his offense, and I'm excited for him.
Jerry, week ones are notoriously just unpredictable. Teams kind of feeling themselves out, trying to figure out who they are. How do you feel, both you personally, but also as a team, you guys have kind of set yourselves up throughout training camp to kind of combat that and get off to a fast?
Yeah, like you said, I feel like we set ourselves up pretty well throughout minicamp, OTAs, just to see the type of team we are and the type of team that we're going to be. I feel like Coach Stefanski and the coaching staff did a great job in just helping us transition through that and just know what we are as a team.
Jerry, the perception is wide receiver room. There's you, and then a lot of unproven guys. If you're around these guys every day, what gives you confidence that this receiver room can step up and do it?
Just because I'm around these guys every day, I know what they're capable of. I practice with these guys, so I see what they do out there on the field each and every day. So, a lot of outsiders may not know, but the people inside know who we got, and that's why we got who we got.
Coming off the year that you are, Pro Bowl, 1,000 yards, how do you even surpass that?
Just by continuously doing what I've been doing, consistently getting open, consistently just making the job easy for the quarterbacks, make the plays that's need to be made. Simple as that, for real.
Could that, though, make it more difficult for you this year because you're the guy that opponents are circling to really pay attention to?
Yeah, it might be a little bit difficult this year. Now that you got a little bit more eye attention on me, but at the end of the day, there's only so much you could do. And, we got a great group of guys in the back end. So that it's going to be hard to just focus on me when you got Cedric, Isaiah, Jamari Thrash on the other side. So, good luck.
Jerry, not that you're not motivated every time you step out on the field, but when you're going up against a team like the Bengals, who on the opposite sideline have two guys at the receiver position that are talented, as Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, does it serve as a little extra motivation for you to know, like, you know, I want to ball out at the same level that those guys do, type thing?
Yeah, for sure. But my motivation is just winning. Doing whatever I need to do just to step on the field and get this W. So, you know, they do got a great group of guys with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but, you know, I'm not playing against those guys. I'm playing against their defense, you know, and I'm just going to prepare myself to be the best version of myself on Sunday.
How much do you think Fannin can add to this pass game for you guys? Because, I mean, I know you can line up wide out. And
You said how much what?
Can Fannin add to the pass game for you guys and where he lines up and everything?
My bad. Say that one more time. Fannin?
Yeah, the tight end.
Tight end? Yeah.
Yeah, just how much can he add to this pass game? Just the many places he can line up and the versatility he has.
Fannin is dynamic. You know, he could line up anywhere on the field, backfield, tight end, receiver. You know, he got a great skill set, and he's very smart. You know, he understands the offense very well. You know, and I'm excited for him. You know, I think he got a big future ahead of him for sure.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.